Good evening, I'm Jim Whaley. Tonight it's a pleasure to welcome to Cinema Showcase one who needs no introduction to the program, Mr. Burt Reynolds. He's on location right now in Atlanta, filming his latest movie called Cannonball. We'll be talking about that film, so I hope you'll stay with me as I talk with Burt Reynolds tonight on Cinema Showcase. Thank you very much for joining Cinema Showcase tonight. And Burt, thank you for taking time out from a busy schedule to spend a few minutes with us.
It's always a pleasure to talk to you, Jim, really.
Thank you. Last time we talked, in fact, I think it was in London. You had just finished, or you were
I thought
promoting
I finished.
Starting Over.
Yes.
And you thought you were finishing Rough Cut.
Right.
Let me talk to you for a minute about Starting Over, because this picture got you some of the best notices I think you've had in your career, justly so, I might add. And you work with a director I admire very much, Alan Pakula. Was this, shall I say, an interesting experience to work with a man like Pakula, who is known to have such a great rapport with his actors?
It was interesting. I didn't find the experience disappointing in any way. I think we both learned a lot about ourselves and each other during the experience. He likes to do a lot of takes. I don't like to do a lot of takes, especially comedy. And I remember one particular time he said, "That was perfect, let's do it again." And I said, "Let's just print the last one twice." We finally got to the point where, because Clayburgh likes to, she'll shoot until the cows come home. She's a wonderful actress and always believes she can get better. I don't really think I can get better. I just feel that in comedy, especially on film, when you capture the moment, it's there. You know, let's press on.
Yeah, yeah. I think Brando too is one who likes to do 30 takes of a.
Well, it takes him a long time to find the card. It's written somewhere. We finally got such respect for each other that he would, when he was on me, on a single on me, he would just do it until we were both happy. I'd do one for him, and then he'd do one for me, and then that was it. When we were around on Joe, you know, we'd go forever, and I didn't mind, because I happen to like both those ladies, and I think they're both talented.
Right, now you talked about capturing the moment, and there's been so much written and talked about, and I guess always will be, about intuition versus technique as far as acting goes. Do you think one should ever supersede the other? Should you rely solely on technique, or?
Well, there are actors that do. There are actors. I think Jose Ferrer is probably technically the best actor in the world. I'm not sure he has a lot of this. He got a lot of that. I think there are certain actors who had a lot of this, not a lot of that. I think that's Marlon. I think Marlon's particularly bright. I think he's incredibly sensual, sensitive, brilliant actor. I wouldn't want to spend more than 10 minutes with him over coffee. I think when you have the combination of the two, Olivier, technique, and a very, very, very intelligent man, it's quite special. But Marlon has something very unique, and that is that you never know what he's going to do. There's a certain magic quality. That magic quality can go right in the toilet. It can be awful, or it can be wonderful. There are certain actors that I thought Monty Cliff acted with his heart on his sleeve. You know, Jimmy Dean. I think Marty Sheen has a little bit of that quality. I think it'll be better as he grows older.
You've directed him, haven't you?
Yeah, he's wonderful. Piece of putty. Just gives himself totally to the actor. I just feel that in terms of my own particular quality, whatever that is, that a lot of people think I never took acting lessons, I just took driving lessons. And I feel that Starting Over, I thought that Starting Over would be the beginning of a certain kind of film that I could do and do very well. But I got a lot of very wonderful reviews, and then everybody in the movie was nominated, including the script girl, but me. So apparently I didn't really prove anything other than something to myself, and I guess in the final analysis, that's really all you have to prove it to.
Well, if I may say, and admittedly I am a bit prejudiced because I think you're a fantastic actor, and I've said that to you before I've said on the air, so it's no big surprise. How did that bother you that you weren't nominated? Because I thought it was frankly a shame.
I was surprised, to be honest with you. I thought because even though I didn't have a tracheotomy before the awards, I thought that I would be nominated because it wasn't a real big year for men. They were kind of searching around. And also because I had gone from an enormous transition from playing what everybody seems to think I am, but that pseudo-macho guy, you know, to what I really am, which is a sort of a sexual klutz, and who can, I think, is very vulnerable, and was very much frightened and alone once he separated from this one-to-one relationship, and I really put a lot out on the line, and it was. It's beyond me how you can look at that film and not feel that it is, certainly if you don't divide the film into three pieces, that you can feel that I was just eliminated totally.
Burt, when you're not busy making films, which is just about all the time, really, we've talked about some of the films you enjoy seeing, and one thing you mentioned one time before was you have a particular fondness for certain British films that were made in the early 60s, some of the angry young men type things.
Yeah.
What are the kind of films do you specifically enjoy watching on those rare times when you can just sit back and watch a film?
Well, someone asked the other day if you could take 6 films. I always am fascinated with this question anyway, with anybody who I like. If you could take 2 people to a desert island, if you could take 6 films to a desert island. I would take a Frank Capra film, obviously.
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
Yes, I would take that. And it's a 12-handkerchief film, but I still would take it. I would take a Howard Hawks film. His Girl Friday, My Girl Friday. Bringing a Baby, Test Pilot, one of those. I don't know which one.
Yeah.
I probably would take Gone with the Wind. And of the foreign films, La Dolce Vita, only because it had a very strong effect on my life one time. And I'd have to take City Lights.
All right. Maybe it's a little early to ask this question, but would you take a Burt Reynolds film?
No. No, I wouldn't. But 5 years from now, I might look back and have a film that I'd like to take of my own, especially if I had a girl along who hadn't seen it.
Let me talk for a minute about some of the, we mentioned Pakula earlier, some of the really marvelous directors you have worked with. And one early director, who is something of a cult favorite, is Samuel Fuller,
Right.
who, in fact, has a new film, which I think was at the Cannes Festival. First film in 4 or 5 years. I think it's called The Big Red One, about...
It's a film he's been working on for 20 years.
Takes him a while, doesn't it?
Well, it's a film that he just could not put together. And we who know Sammy, and there are an enormous amount of us who love him, and the French love him, but then the French love Jerry Lewis, have all felt that he is an incredibly talented man. And he was in the Big Red One, and he went through Normandy and, you know, all the major battles. Mm-hmm. And he's had this story for a long, long time, and I understand Lee Marvin is brilliant in the film, and could be a whole resurgence for both of them.
That would be nice.
It would be
nice. All right, when you're working with a man who is known as an auteur like that. Early in your career, did he have any kind of really important influence on you?
Not really. I felt at the time that, first of all, Sammy, we were working with the script. Sammy had one hand tied behind his back and 2 patches over both eyes. I mean, it was the wrong way. I mean, I just worked with Don Siegel. I mean, I'm crazy for Don. But he had, David Merrick tied over his eyes or whatever. I don't know. There were lots of problems. If you get the best of those guys, it's like Ford at the end of his career. I mean, when John Ford shot that film with Anne Bancroft, that really was
7 Women.
7 Women, which was really written for John Wayne.
Right.
It was not John Ford at his best. Or Cheyenne Autumn, I don't really think was John Ford at his best. But had I got a chance to work with Ford at the era of Stagecoach and that She Wore a Yellow Ribbon and those kind of films, it would have been incredible. I don't think I got Siegel at his best, and I don't think I got Sammy at his best. By that I don't mean that Siegel doesn't have another film in him, and certainly Fuller doesn't. But what you learn from them is that, and it's a big lesson to learn actually, is that you have to have the words. The word is so important. I've had the words twice in my life, Deliverance and Starting Over. The rest of the time, I had a tremendous amount of luck, and I've been able to force my own personality into the work, so that whoever likes that idiot on the Tonight Show will go see the film and not be disappointed. The drawback of that is that if you don't like that guy on the Tonight Show, you're not going to go see the film. And the other drawback is that if you do like that guy and you go see a film where you like Cuckoo's Nest or whatever, and you're playing a character, and you don't give them that character from the Tonight Show. Like, for example, when I work in the theater, they come in and expect me to,
drive a car on stage.
Well, not drive a car, but at least do some Johnny Carson takes to the audience, etc. And if somebody sneezes, say, God bless you. And you got to stay in character and do your thing. And some people are disappointed in you in that. They don't come to see you act. They come to see that guy. And that is a problem. You get trapped in that. And when you feel like, gee, I'm ready now to break out of the cocoon and really work, as an actor. And that part of it is very difficult. I haven't got an abundance of William Goldman scripts on my desk.
All right. Has directing films given you any more insight into the whole art?
Yes. I would rather direct than, well, it's the second best thing I'd rather do in life. And acting ain't first. I feel film is totally a director's medium, and that it's what I want to do.
Wait, has it made you any less patient with directors you work with?
No, not less patient, but you sometimes sit there and wonder, dear God, how did they ever get here? I mean, where did this reputation come from? Because many a day I've walked out and had them wandering around muttering where they're going to put the camera, and I always say, I think pointed towards the actors would be good. It just isn't that hard. It really isn't that hard. I mean, the mechanics, you can learn, but just being able to communicate. And there's a lot of people you have to communicate with. It isn't just the actors, obviously. It takes a lot of people to make a film work. The actors all think it's just the actors. But, if you go to the rushes with the wardrobe man, he looks at the wardrobe. We all are kind of self-contained somehow, and it shouldn't be that way, because everybody contributes. I mean, if you're directing a film, you should ask everybody. When I direct a film, I bring the crew in, I give them all a script, ask them how they like the script. I really am it, and I don't ask them because I'm trying to be cute. I really want to know how they feel. And you get some really wonderful ideas from everybody.
Could you work on a film, do you think? You hear such strange stories about directors like Kubrick, who won't even show his cast the last part of the script, or he only gives them their lines or whatever. I would think that would be an impossible way for an actor to function.
Well, I'm not interested in giving up a year of my life for Mr. Kubrick. I really am not. I mean, I think, what if it turns out to be a picture that Ryan made, you know? I mean, Ryan was there for almost 2 years.
Barry Lyndon, yeah.
You know, the photography was extraordinary, but my God, it should have been. If you stand around all day and wait for a cumulus cloud for, not all day, for 3 weeks, you're going to get a pretty cumulus cloud. But if you take Tracy and Hepburn and stick them up against that wall, it's a lot more interesting than, you know, John Agar against a pretty cumulus cloud. I mean, when it comes right down to it, it's the words, the actors, and eventually what's behind them, the scenery, and, you know, how you structure it, and how you adjust the positions of what they do. But it just isn't that tough. It really isn't. I get so, I mean, one guy does one film, and suddenly a guy directs Animal House, and suddenly it becomes a film.
Right.
And instead of spending $8 million, he spends $34 million. Instead of wrecking one car, he wrecks 132 cars. You know, I don't understand that. I really don't. And I love Kubrick's early work, you know. I mean, The Killing. Spartacus, I thought, was wonderful for the kind of film it was. It was an extraordinary film. 2001, yeah. But I'm probably the only living human male under the age of 50 that hasn't seen Fantasia stoned. So I don't really get into that, you know, going to look at 2001 with a mushroom in my mouth.
Let's talk for a bit about the movie you're here in Georgia making, which is called Cannonball.
It's called Cannonball, the Sea to Shining Sea Trophy Dash, Memorial Trophy Dash. I assume that will be in small letters.
Yeah.
I assume Cannonball will be in caps. It's one of those Hal Needham pictures that, like Chinese food, it's wonderful while you're eating it, and 2 hours after you see the film, you want to go see another movie. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's as funny or funnier than Smokey. Got a lot of terrific people in it. It's just great fun. Nobody's buying any tuxedos for the awards. Hopefully, I'm hoping that the picture will do very well in Europe, because I haven't had a film really break. Raymond Chow is producing it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's quite a man, and the biggest producer in the Orient. And I feel that since the picture is not a real Southern picture, I mean, everybody in the film is just in any kind of car racing from Darien, Connecticut to Long Beach. And there's no CBs, and there's none of that sort of, you know, stuff that we kind of equate with the South, etc. It's just a race, and there's an awful lot of, at least I've tried anyway, to put a lot of humanity into the film. Very few car crashes, just a lot of character, you know. It's very, the best analysis I can use is Mad World. Mm-hmm. And I think it'll be a lot of fun to see. It's the kind of picture that I'd like to go see, you know, on a Saturday afternoon, rainy afternoon. Yeah. I'd like to go see it.
Well, you just finished another one, which I saw. I saw a rough cut of a picture called Rough Cut, mm-hmm. which I think is marvelous, okay. What I saw. And I did not see a complete, finished movie. But it has I think, a marvelous touch to it. And whatever the problems behind the scenes with the producer or whoever, I think in the end result, what matters is what you see on the screen.
That's all that matters.
And what I saw looks good. Are you pleased with them?
I think it has a richness to it.
Well, Freddie Young photographed it, and he's
The best.
magical. Yeah.
Yeah. It was my homage to Cary Grant, and Cary may not think so when he sees the film, but it's the first time I ever really got to wear real pretty clothes and play a rather wealthy guy, and he's a cat birder, and it's To Catch a Thief at 1980, you know. No four-letter words, just kind of classy.
Yeah.
She's Leslie Ann Down. If the picture's a hit, I think will be a major motion picture star. She's a fabulous-looking girl. And David Niven, who we talked about going to the desert island, he would be one of the guys that I would take for sure. I mean, he's wonderful, wonderful man. And it was the work part of it was wonderful. I loved working on it. Behind the scenes fighting and squabbling and all that, I hated. But I think, as you say, the end result is hopefully it'll be a good film.
Now, how can you divorce yourself from a situation like that? Because you are and have been in a position for quite some time, being able to pick and choose just what you want to do. Are the mechanics and the economics of filmmaking so involved that if something is going that way, even you cannot say, look, let's just stop all this and get on?
I tried. I really tried, but I gave up every single right I had to do Starting Over. Starting Over popped up at a time when I was to do Rough Cut, and I had all the artistic controls anybody could have legally as an actor. And I went to David Merrick and said, could you move Rough Cut behind Starting Over? And he said, yes, but you'll have to give up certain things if I do that. I ended up giving up everything. And then I won. I never won an argument after that.
Hmm. That must be frustrating, though, to...
It probably wouldn't be so frustrating if I was 23 years old. It was very frustrating now. This time and this place in my career to have to do things that I felt were, not only felt, but knew were just totally unnecessary.
As so many people have said, acting in itself is such a tough business, and movie making is tougher still. And why bring all the other added?
Well, I like to juggle, you know, all those different balls in the air, and I'm very involved in what's going on behind the camera, and I'm fascinated with it, and I love it, and I care about it. Sally Field is in a cocoon, you know, and she does her work, and her work is extraordinary. But she's able to just go over and just get in a little ball and then do her work. My preparation is looking through the lens and finding out is it a 40 and what are we doing and all that, and being very involved in the writing and this and that. And all that. And I love that part of it. And when you take that away from me, I just, I get crazy.
All right. When you're directing, and a film like The End, for example, when you have an incredible cast,
Yeah.
From Myrna Loy and Pat O'Brien to Dom DeLuise and Robbie Benson, each of these people demand something different.
Right.
They're not alike. Is it a question of you adapting to their needs? Because you can't obviously direct Myrna Loy in the same way you would direct Robbie Benson.
True. Yes. You are, directors can be just traffic cops. Most of them are. The really good ones are just chameleons, you know, and are there to stroke people's egos when they need them, spank people when they need it, yell. Some people like to be yelled at or have to be yelled at. Some people are lazy. Some actors are lazy. Other actors really need to be told that they're on the right track.
Some would fall apart if you yell at them.
Oh, boy, do they ever. But Myrna is glorious.
That must have been incredible working with her. I've always loved her.
Well, I told both of them. I said, you know, I have two wonderful parents, but the joy of my life was that I was able to pick my mother and dad, and I picked the two that I'd want, Pat O'Brien and Myrna Loy.
Yeah. Just watching, I had the pleasure of doing an interview with her not long ago, about a year or so ago, and she is just incredible to talk to. When you look at some of her great Metro comedies that she did in the 30s and 40s, the Thin Man and stuff, the timing that she and Powell had,
Yes.
miraculous.
You know, she's a fabulous lady. She's a really fabulous lady, great sense of humor, and most women and most men, when they get to a certain age, they lose the look, if you know what I mean. But there's no mistaking Myrna. I mean, that's Myrna Loy.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, the facial structure is absolutely the same as it was when she was 20. So.
Yeah. We've only got a minute or so left. When you wrap up Cannonball, and you've got Smokey II coming out, Smokey and the Bandit, what's the title?
2.
Okay. Then what's next?
I'm going to do a small film, which I hopefully will be like Starting Over, a very serious, sweet little film that David Steinberg is going to direct, which I want to give him a shot at directing. And then I'm going to do Whorehouse with Dolly Parton.
Marvelous.
My second attempt to sing, which may be disastrous.
I don't think so. We've talked about, well, we don't have time to go into At Long Last Love again, but I still think that movie has some nice stuff in it.
I'm thrilled to be working with Dolly. I mean, that's going to be terrific.
Yeah.
That's 1 and 1 makes 3.
Burt, I want to thank you very much for taking this time out, and much success with the remainder of the filming of Cannonball, and hope to see you again soon.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
My thanks to all of you for watching. Hope to see you next time. Good night.